What if the business you're supposed to build is something you've been doing for free your whole life? Well, my guest today, Carla Russell, baked brownies for years, decades even, while everyone around her said, look, you need to sell these. Well, her answer was always no, until God told her she was already doing what she was supposed to do. She just needed to get paid for it. Now, she's building Carla's classic brownies while still teaching full-time, over 29 years in a classroom, and she's proof that you don't have to quit your job to start executing. You just have to start. So today we're talking about turning a lifelong gift into a business, the sacrifice of sleep when you're building something, and what happens when you stop ignoring what God is telling you. So this is the Execution Lab. I'm DeAndre. Let's work.
Ideas are cheap. Execution pays. Welcome to the Execution Lab.
All right, Carla, so welcome to the Execution Lab podcast.
And so excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Carla Russell. I'm originally from Dothan, Alabama. I live in Tuscaloosa, Alabama right now. I got here by way of a basketball scholarship through the University of Alabama, played women's basketball there, and started teaching as soon as I graduated college, and that's all I've been doing my entire life. I'm married, have 2 children, and just living the life that God has called me to live.
All right. And look, let's jump into it. So you've been making brownies for how long now first? And then people been telling you to sell these for how many years? Give us the backstory on that.
Listen, let me say ever. That's how long I've been making them, ever. And really for double-digit years, I'm sure. And people have always said they're so good, they're this, they're that. You really need to start selling these. And I'm thinking in my mind, why would I sell something that I just like to make them? So why would I need to sell them? Like it wasn't registering in my mind that that's another stream of income, which I'm sure we're going to get to that as well. So yeah, been making them forever and finally decided, listen, let's make some money off of this.
Yeah. And let's go ahead and get into it. You said that the trigger was you were praying about multiple streams of income, and God basically said, you're already doing it. So walk me through that moment. Now, where were you? What did that feel like?
All right. So let's start with, so we were talking about in church, and I know that you brought this up when we were at Cornerstone one Sunday, and I can't remember the order: increasing quantities, multiple sources on a continual basis. So I'm thinking in my mind,
Yes.
what, I don't have anything. Like, what can I do? What am I doing? Or what do I need to do? Like, I'm thinking like there's something out there that I'm going to have to pick up to do. And the Lord was like, you're already doing it. And then just hearing
Yep.
conversation with my friends, about things that they're doing. I'm thinking, well, Lord, is there a business inside of me? Is Brownies a business? Thinking all of those things. And then finally I was like, let's do it.
Absolutely. So that saying, for those who get again, is I'm so happy and grateful now that money comes to me in increasing quantity through multiple sources on a continuous basis.
Yes,
Woo!
Lord.
You better say that. I got it on t-shirts or put whatever you want to put before it. I'm so happy now that, wealth or health or success or, relationships coming to me in increasing quantity through multiple sources on a continuous basis. So appreciate it. I just want to throw that on in there.
Yes, sir.
While we and in our discussion before, you said that one thing that was going on, you said we were having more months left than money. And so I want to let that sit for a second, because that's the reality of a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Got a lot of people that's working full-time jobs, and we still find ourselves in that. And so, but you have been teaching for almost 30 years.
Yeah.
That's stable income. That's consistent. What made you realize, okay, that's not enough?
Because the lifestyle that we were trying to live, we wanted better
Yep.
for ourselves, better for our children. And then you just start, like something just hit me all of a sudden, just saying, we've got to do better with our finances. And how do you do that? First of all, you got to be a tither and a giver. Start with that. And then from there, seeking the Lord on what it is that He is desiring for us to do that's a part of the plan that He has for our lives.
Also, and for years, I'm gonna go back to do this real quick because I got a
Okay.
personal experience. So for years, your response to you should sell these was, I just enjoy making them.
Yes.
I just enjoy, I do it out the kindness of my heart. I
Yeah.
just want to serve people. And so what shifted? What made just enjoying it to no longer than just enjoying it to, okay, it's no longer just my hobby. This can be my business. So what was it that shifted?
So of course, having conversations with you about
Yeah.
like there's so much inside of us. And then someone, I can't remember who made the statement about getting to heaven and then seeing a room where there's all these gifts and things and talents and all the stuff that you could have had,
Miles
that you
Monroe.
could have done.
Yeah.
Yes. And of course, that gets you to thinking and get the turning in your mind and you just trying to say, okay, so Lord, so what is it? We trying to create something that's already there. It's already inside of you. You've already been doing it. It's just something that you need to just to turn into a business. Like you said, find a need, feel the need, and then get paid for it.
And it's one thing I do appreciate about Miss Russell on here, y'all, is that she will ask some questions. She'll try to confront like if she wants to know something, she gonna ask the question.
Definitely. That's for sure.
So walk me through the actual sequence. Like once you decided this is real, I know we had initial conversation. Kind of what was some of the questions that you had just kind of launching out that other people probably don't have.
So I guess the first thing was I'm not a business person. I don't know anything about business. I don't know about how to run a business. I don't know how to start the business per se, talking about LLCs or business license, all of those things, getting a name for the business, pricing, packaging. It was just so much stuff. And I was thinking in my mind, Lord, have I taken on too much? But he reminded me you're connected to people that already are doing these things. All you have to do is just ask them for help. So I'm definitely thankful for the divine connections that I have with the Peterson family and then Jelando Hill with Pinnacle Chef.
But so when you talk to even myself or Jolanda, what were some of the questions that you had?
Yes. So we had to first figure out, okay, what's going to be the name? How do I go about getting a name for the business? And what are the fees? Like I had no idea how to do that or what that even looked like. So you were able to walk me through getting the name, getting a logo. It was all overwhelming and exciting all at the same time. Like how do I know what I want the logo to look like? Who's going to help me get that together. Like I said, about the packaging and all that stuff, like what kind of packaging do I buy? What kind of boxes do I buy? If I have to ship, how much do I charge to ship? How do you come up with the cost of how much the brownies are going to cost? And if you got these many brownies, like how do I figure out the cost for a half dozen versus a dozen versus three versus one? So all of those things were kind of flooding my mind. But like I said, I have a good foundation, some good friendships, and some good connections that were able to help me walk through some of those questions.
Also, I remember a conversation we had. Yeah, we got down to the minutia. We
It
got
was
down to the okay. This is how much each brownie cost. Then we went from
yes,
that one brownie up to maybe half a dozen, up to
yes,
a dozen. Let's
yes.
make my whole thing. Let's make sure we're making a profit.
Right,
Let's make
exactly.
sure that's the business. Like, right, right.
It is.
So tell the people how long was it? You say you prayed about it, uh, and then you went to work. So how long was it from that prayer moment to the first sale? How long was that?
So from the prayer moment to the first sale, oh my goodness, it wasn't long because as soon as the Lord, he was like, do it. So I came to you and I said, I'm ready. And probably not shortly after that, once we got everything in order, there was an event called the Thrift Exchange. And that was my first event. And we
Mm,
sold out. We sold everything. So that, of course, was definitely exciting. But yeah, so the time frame, I'm gonna say maybe a month or 2, 2 at the most. So
mhm.
it didn't take long at all.
Yeah, that's so interesting. Call a point right there, and it's not even on the question. You just kind of spurred this item right here.
Okay.
Is that your first event you sold out?
Mhm.
I mean, you sold out your first event. And I'm gonna say that again, like your first event, you sold out. So it's almost like people are saying, okay, God said, I've been waiting on you.
Exactly.
I've been waiting on you to be selling, but we're here now. And so, you stepped down on it, you executed, you had action, and boom, that's what happened.
Yes,
That's what happened. So that just even that thought is amazing. Even that thought is amazing.
for sure.
And so let's get down into some of the day-to-day things here. So you're in your 29th year teaching,
Yes.
and so you still in classroom. What does a typical week look like when you're balancing school, like lesson plans and grading, and also brownie orders? What does that look like?
Hey, you tired of having brilliant ideas that never become reality? You're not alone. The Idea Execution Playbook reveals the exact four-step system successful entrepreneurs use to launch profitable businesses, even while working full-time. So stop letting great ideas die in your head. Transform any concept into cash flow with this proven roadmap. The link is in the description.
So let me just go ahead and be honest. I'm done with all that grading papers, all that stuff. The job where I am now, I'm at the alternative school.
Okay.
And with those students, all I do is
Okay.
monitor. So when I say I have done my time with
Gotcha.
teaching per se, so right now I'm just in the classroom, I'm monitoring. So I have a little bit more
That's
freedom
good.
in this new job that I have. So that, of course, was another selling
Yeah.
point for me to go ahead and start the business because you have time to do it.
Right.
And, so as far as that
Yeah.
goes, I go to school and I drive a bus. I didn't even mention that. So I'm up at about 5:30, having to get to school to do my bus route and then go to work and then drive the bus in the afternoon. And then all the while I'm posting, of course, on social media, trying to get orders and all those things. So I try to space them out to where I have time that I'm not overwhelmed because I did get overwhelmed with that first event trying to do everything in one night, trying to make it fresh and wasn't thinking about all of the work that had to go into it. You got to do the mix. You got to put it in the oven. You got to get it out of the oven. You got to let it cool off. Then you got to package it all up in your little individual bags. Then you got to put them in boxes and all of those things and make sure you got everything labeled and all of that. So I learned that I can't do that all in one night. And then I also learned in the process of making the brownies and selling them that they last. If you seal them up correctly and have them locked up and the freshness stays for a while. So I can do, if I have a big event, I can do my brownies maybe 2 days in advance.
Good. You mentioned something about a 2 a.m. baking session. That was for their first event, wasn't it?
Yes, I was up till about, yes, almost 2 AM trying to get everything because they weren't orders. I was just trying to make sure that I had enough so that because I knew that they were gonna sell so that people would have an opportunity
Yeah.
to buy them. So, yeah, so I stayed, like I said, rookie mistake. It was my bad, but I learned from it that, you don't have to do it all in the same night.
Right, right. Been there. Now you slid something in there just then. You said I knew they were gonna sell.
I
And
did.
so where that confidence come from?
Look, from y'all, from you all, from my friends, from family, from coworkers and things, like they really enjoy them. Like every time they get them, it's like, I couldn't eat just one. And I said, well, surely you didn't eat all 12 of them. And some of them, said yes. Some of them said, no, I saved a few, or some of the other family members that got them, but people really enjoyed them. And they're like, what do you do to these brownies? I said, "I don't do anything except follow the instructions. That's all that I do." And then somebody said, "You do something." I said, "Well, I do pray over 'em and ask the Lord to let them be what the people desire for them to be for themselves. Like whatever they need at the time that they're eating that brownie, that every bite that they take, that it fulfills whatever that little, you know, need is."
Come on now, it feel it too. It feel like them corner pieces. Like
Yeah,
my brother talking about them corner, he just want a
he
whole trash
does.
corner.
And I'm not lying. I'm looking for a pan.
Corner.
I'm looking for a pan that makes corners only, because 'cause I'm sure it's one out there somewhere. I just gotta find it.
Yeah. Look, that's good. And that kind of transition right over to my next question. You had mentioned that it's powerful when the Holy Spirit wakes you up at 3 a.m.
Um,
with an idea. And you had said in your answers that you have more energy than you did if you slept all night. So that pan idea may have been one of those 3 a.m. ideas. I know personally, I get all of my downloads before 7. And
Um,
so anywhere between 4 and 7 o'clock, that's when I get my download. That's when I'm up. That's when my brain is sharpest. So explain to someone who's never experienced that, what does that actually feel like when that happens?
so the first thing I did was I was praying, about whatever the situation was. Um, Probably, I think I was trying to figure out, Lord, how much, how many brownies do I need to make for this event? I don't want to do too much and then have to throw them away. I don't want to do too little and then I could have made
Yeah.
more and made, more money or whatever. So of course I'm just praying and asked the Lord, for an answer. And he didn't answer me right then. So the Lord he's so funny. He said, well, I'm gonna wake you up at 2 a.m. and let's see if you get up so that I can give you the answer to the question because sometimes we lay there. I've done that. I'm guilty of it. So I've
Yeah.
learned
Yeah.
and relearned to get my behind on up so that I can hear what he's saying. Because if he thought enough of me to wake me up, then that means he has something to tell me. And I need to know what that is.
Mm.
I get on up and we have our little session with the Lord where whether I'm writing notes or just listening or just being obedient just to get up because he said, get up. And then from there, once
Yeah.
I go on with the rest of my day, I promise it's like I have more energy than if I slept, up until it was time for me to get up to drive the bus. So he is faithful and he keeps us, and I'm thankful for that.
Awesome. Let me ask you this question. Whenever you launch out to do something, your life is already busy. Like, you're married, kids, busy with school, church, other things like that.
Mhm.
And I had to learn this as well. Even with this podcast, there's some things that I had to cut, some things I can't do that I wanted to do, or can't do them. And
Mhm.
so, are there anything that you possibly had to say no to, or like what's gotten kind of squeezed out of your life to make room for this business?
So really, and it may sound crazy. It was like I just had to get out of my own way and trust the
Yeah.
process that God has me in to really, it was more of a mental thing. Cause again, I'm not a business person. He was like, stop saying that. And I'm not business minded is what I would kept telling myself. You're not business minded. You're not this, you're not that. So I had to reshape how I think about who I am and who I am becoming. So just that part, getting out of my own head, getting out of my own way and trusting the process, trusting that if he says go to this event and do this, that, and whatever, that what he says is going to happen, it's going to come to pass. And even if I somehow or another mess up or don't do something exactly right, that thank the Lord, he shows us grace and he shows us mercy and he gives us another opportunity to do it over and to get it right.
Absolutely. You had said that you've learned to do things scared
Yes.
and without having all the details. I think that's powerful right there. So what tell me this, what were you scared of? What details did you think you needed that you've since realized that you didn't need?
So the first thing was, let me see, was just fear of failing. Who wants to fail? And I've been making these brownies all this time, and what if
Right.
I try to, start this business? What if nobody buys them? What if I keep making all these brownies and then they go to waste? All these things are kind of flooding my mind. So it makes you hesitant. I learned from watching other people. So I have friends that are in other businesses. And when we have conversations about whatever aspect of their business that they may be dealing with, having to go ask for money or see an investor about getting whatever the case may be. I just had the
Yeah.
purpose in my mind that if I'm doing this, God is with me. I didn't come up with this on my own. He downloaded this into me, and then because he did that, he's gonna help me navigate through whatever my fear is, so that I can be successful because his name is on the line too.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite sayings, and I think this is Zig Ziglar quote, I believe. Zig Ziglar said, you probably heard me say it. He
Mhm.
said, you don't have to wait for all the lights to turn green to go downtown. You
Right.
just need that first one to turn green.
You do.
I think sometimes we procrastinate and we back and we don't do it because we want to look way down. I want all them lights to be green before I go down there. You
Yeah.
need that first one. And that was a song when I was little. I'm gonna go get the question. That was a song. I can't remember who sang it now. Maybe the Mighty Cloud Joy or somebody. It said, if you make one step, he'll make two. You make
Mhm.
one step, he'll make two. So sometimes we just gotta make a step.
That's
Just
it.
step out there and make a step. Uh, I do want to ask you, obviously, you know, you're a woman of faith and your
Mhm.
trust in God is clearly central to how you operate. And you said, and that everything works together for your good and for
Mhm.
him to get the glory. How does that show up practically? When you're pricing brownies, is that a prayer? Or when you're siding on events, or you seeking guidance and all that? So go tell me a little bit about that.
Definitely. You have to, even though and this is just an example, if I have a set price for something, like if I'm saying it's $20
Mhm.
for a dozen brownies or whatever the case may be, there may be some time where he say, don't charge them, give it away. So and you have that
Yeah,
little wrestle in
yeah,
your mind where you're thinking, now is that me? Is that the enemy? Or is that the Lord? Because I know I got a bill that's got to be paid, and this $20 could be added to, you
yeah.
know, what
Come on now.
towards the bill. So, but I've learned that when I hear that the enemy ain't telling me to give, so I know it's the Lord saying, give it away, give it to them. And then
Yeah,
what I found is that he blesses me with another opportunity to either sell some more or another opportunity for another event, but he'll make up the difference of what I think that I may lose, in that particular situation.
yeah. So sometimes you got to pray, sometimes you
Definitely.
got to hustle.
De- True. True.
So there is a delicate balance between the two.
It is.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that is. You mentioned that. I only have a couple more questions for you. You mentioned that you measure success by the smile on someone's face when they bite into a brownie, or when somebody said you ought to be ashamed of yourself. These things so good. What's probably one of the most memorable reactions that you've gotten?
So one of my teammates from Alabama, some of her players had some of my brownies. They came to Tuscaloosa for a basketball tournament and they had some of the brownies and they enjoyed them. So they went back to Nashville, Tennessee, and she sent me a video of them saying, Miss Carla, you got to send us some more of those brownies. They were so good. Like, we can't wait to get some more, all of those things. So I was just smiling from ear to ear to hear that from, some high schoolers that are saying that it's that good. So it was just exciting and definitely made
Yeah,
my heart feel proud.
that's good. That's good. That's social proof. That's validation, and we all want that. We all, are encouraged by when something that's been inside of us
Yes.
is in the marketplace and we get good compliments on it.
For s-
That's good. This is it's almost like it's not as deep, but it's almost like when your kid does something, how you feel that sense of pride, like, oh,
Yes.
man,
Woo!
I feel good. I mean,
Definitely.
uh, you said that about the education, said you're going to stay until retirement, and then you're taking Carlos Classic Brownies to the next level. So, how many years you got left, and what does that next level actually look like? Storefront, wholesale, shipping nationwide? What does that look like?
So this is the end of year 29, beginning of year 30 for me. So I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be in there, but I am feeling like when I'm sitting in the classroom, why am I still here? What are you doing? You could be doing something else. All those questions keep flooding my mind. So I'm just trying to, I guess I'm wrestling within myself about, am I scared to retire? Do I need to stay a little longer? So all those things are kind of, flooding my mind because I've been doing this for, might as well say 30 years. So what else would I do?
Yeah,
Um, so, so all that's flooding my mind. But at the same time, I'm waiting for the Lord to say, let's, and then I'm going to say, go, get on out of here. I'm
let's.
waiting on that. And
What
and then but anyway, that's
you said
that
you
part.
sitting on G waiting on no.
Yes, sir. All of the above. Yes. Yes, right there. I'm talking some days I'm sitting at my computer, I'm just looking
Awesome.
like, "What are you doing?" So, I'm just trying to
Well,
make sure it ain't just my flesh
somebody doing
'cause,
it.
you getting older and I'm ready to get on up out of there for real. So, but as far as taking it to the next
Yeah,
level, it's just whatever door the Lord opens for me to be able to walk through selling, from place to place. going to different events, shipping, which is I've shipped to 2 states, that's Florida and to Tennessee already. So that is going well. And definitely learning about how
Good.
to package them so that when they get them, that they're still fresh. And that has definitely been a success from that point as well. Storefront, I'm not sure about that yet because at this time I'm only making like 3 different types, where it's plain, with nuts, or 0 sugar. So I'm not sure about the storefront yet. But if when it gets there, I feel like I will be more than ready to do that. So that's kind of where I am.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I'm not a big proponent of storefronts because, like, there's a lot of overhead that come with that. So I think what you're doing is amazing.
Thank you.
And so for the listeners in the Tuscaloosa area, or even you said Florida and you said Tennessee,
Tennessee? Yes, sir.
Florida and Tennessee, and I'm just gonna say whatever state you in, one of the 50 states, we can make it happen.
We can make it happen.
How do they order? Yeah, how do they order for those that wanna, maybe follow you in your journey or even have an interest in purchasing some brownies? So how can they get in contact with you?
So right now I'm on Facebook at Carla's Classic Brownies. There's a jot form that you fill out and it goes straight to my email address, which is the same, Carla's Classic Brownies at gmail.com. And you just place your order there and we'll just, we can chat back and forth to make sure that we have everything in order, address, mailing address, make sure that we're shipping it to the right place. All of those things, we can handle that through a jot form that I have.
Awesome. And we'll put a link to that down below this video here so you guys can definitely patronize Miss Russell on that today. And whenever you see this, go up under there and click that. I'm telling you now,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you. Oh, for the brown you got good, but it's a special anointing in them corner pieces.
Whoop, whoop. Tell the truth.
In them corner. Some in them corner pieces. Oh,
Oh,
well, Cole, I think I do want to give you just a kind of a parting word. Any last thing you want to share with the listeners? And all of these, I market as individuals that are working at 9 to 5, but they have a passion, they have a dream, they have some goals, some things that they want to do, they want to launch out and do. So, any last word you want to leave with them?
listen, if the Lord has placed something in you, if you have an idea and you're not sure about whether I need all the details, I need all this information to get started, you don't. Just go ahead and do it. Find you and connect with you some people that are already kind of doing what you're doing. I'm sure there's somebody in your friend circle that you can talk to about this, and don't worry about the naysayers, but just dive in head first and go for it. And you'll find out that you should have done this probably a long time ago.
Awesome. Awesome. Look, thank you for joining us. The nuggets that you dropped were amazing.
Thank you.
We're so proud of just to see how far you've gone in a short period of time.
Yes.
And much success to Carla's Classic Brownies moving into the future. Hey, y'all, thanks for tuning in to the Execution Lab. Until next time,
Ideas
go
are
get
cheap.
it.
Execution pays. Welcome to the Execution Lab. This ain't talk, this ain't theory. We don't wait.